Two quiet Swedish twins shattered hockey's loudest rule, that leaders must yell to lead. Daniel and Henrik Sedin proved that humility, consistency, and servant leadership could transform a team and redefine what greatness sounds like. In the rough and tumble world of the NHL, greatness often roars. We're talking about the thunderous impact of big hits that echo through arenas, the passionate, sometimes fiery speeches shouted in the locker rooms, and the constant vocal drive that seems to define a leader. But what if the two most revolutionary players of their generation were also, paradoxically, the quietest? They faced a barrage of criticism, labeled as too soft, too passive, and, in a subtle jab that stung, too Swedish. This isn't just a story about two hockey players. It's about how Daniel and Henrik Sedin, identical twin superstars who were constantly told they'd never survive the brutal grind of the NHL, didn't just play the game, they fundamentally changed it, forever, by shattering hockey's number one unspoken rule, the belief that true leaders must always be loud. Hockey's old guard, bless their traditional hearts, often dictates the captain, the true leader, must be the loudest voice in the room. He's the guy who pounds his fist on the dresser, whose booming voice scares rookies into shape, the one who takes charge with an undeniable presence. It's a leadership style built on volume and overt command. But Henrik and Daniel? They never signed that script, not once. Their journey began far from the bright lights of North America, in the small serene town of Örnsköldsvik, Sweden. There, their childhood coach instilled a different philosophy. Pass first, shoot second, and crucially, never chirp. That quiet, almost introspective approach wasn't shed when they arrived in the bustling, boisterous locker rooms of Vancouver. While other teams paraded out on screamers and motivators who led with their vocal cords, the Sedin twins whispered. And here's the kicker. Teammates often say the room would go silent, a hush falling, whenever Henrik spoke. It wasn't because he was barking orders or delivering a fiery sermon. It was precisely because it happened so rarely, so thoughtfully, that everyone instinctively leaned in. You knew whatever he was about to say was important, distilled, and worth absorbing. That quiet, almost reverent silence became their most potent weapon. They proved unequivocally that you don't need to be loud, you don't need volume, when your work ethic is so relentlessly, consistently deafening. Their actions, their unwavering commitment to the team, and their humble demeanor spoke volumes louder than any shouted command ever could. This was servant leadership in its purest form. Long before the term became a corporate buzzword, they lived by example. Always. Draft Day, 1999. It was a day etched in Canucks history, largely thanks to the then general manager Brian Burke, a man known for his audacious moves. He engineered a dizzying carousel of trades, a masterful chess game, all to achieve one singular, seemingly impossible goal: to land both Swedish brothers, Daniel and Henrik, with the second and third overall picks. Vancouver fans, hungry for grit and power, were expecting bruising power forwards to instantly transform their team. What they got instead were polite, identical twins who famously finished each other's sentences almost as if they shared a single mind. Early scouting reports were, to put it mildly, skeptical, even dismissive. They labeled the twins timid, suggesting they lacked the physical edge for the NHL. One particularly scathing Pacific Division coach, clearly amused by their perceived softness, even told the media they'd be pushed off the puck by the anthem. If they could talk, their rookie contracts might as well have come with a warning label: may shrink under NHL punishment. The twins heard it all, every doubt, every snide remark, every prediction of their failure. They nodded, perhaps shared a quiet glance, and then, without a single word of protest or defiance, went right back to what they did best. They returned to the relentless, almost hypnotic cycle game, working the puck tirelessly below the hash marks for 40-second shifts, draining the life and the lungs out of opposing teams, quietly, of course. Their response wasn't verbal, it was purely devastatingly effective on the ice. Let's talk about stability, or rather, the distinct lack thereof, during much of their career. Take the 2006-07 season, for instance. The coaching carousel spun wildly, bringing in Alain Vigneault, but systems and strategies seemed to change monthly, leaving many players scrambling. For the Sedins, however, it simply didn't matter. They were a self-organizing machine, a living, breathing tactical unit. Henrik would win the draw, gliding the puck with effortless grace to Daniel on the wing. Daniel would hold it, drawing defenders, while Henrik circled low, ready for the return pass. Then, a perfectly weighted dish to Alex Burrows, crashing the net, and the whole intricate dance would repeat. Teammates inside the room called it the shift. It was five-man jazz, performed without sheet music, an intuitive ballet of possession and pressure that few could replicate, let alone stop. Their on-ice synergy wasn't just pretty, it was incredibly effective, often compensating for any tactical inconsistencies from the bench. Henrik, the ultimate playmaker and strategist on ice, orchestrated everything, setting the pace and dictating the flow. Daniel, the natural finisher, complemented Henrik's vision perfectly, adopting a shoot-first mentality to capitalize on those intricate setups. This unique dynamic allowed them to read off each other with an almost telepathic understanding, effectively directing the team's offense even when coaching directives might have been less clear or inconsistent. There's a legendary story from a night in Detroit, a notoriously tricky road game. The coaching staff's earpiece system, their direct line to the bench, suddenly died. Communication was severed. In the chaos, Henrik calmly leaned over to the bench and, with that characteristic quiet confidence, said, "We'll just keep doing the cycle, okay?" The final score that night? A dominant 4-0 victory for Vancouver. The Twins, in essence, treated coaching like a GPS. Nice to have for general direction, but they already knew the most efficient, most devastating route to their destination. They were the ultimate on-ice generals, capable of executing complex strategies without constant oversight, a testament to their deep understanding of the game and each other. The year is 2010, a significant moment in Canucks history. Roberto Luongo, a star goalie, stepped down from the captaincy, a rare and somewhat controversial move. Traditionalists, the purists of the game, were up in arms, demanding a true skater captain, a loud voice. And what did Vancouver do? They gave the seat to Henrik Sedin, arguably the quietest guy in the entire roster. It was a bold, almost revolutionary choice, but one that perfectly encapsulated the Sedin's unique brand of leadership. Henrik's first act as captain, not a fiery speech, not a public declaration of intent. No, he was spotted carrying a rookie's equipment bags off the team bus. His second act, taking the entire press scrum blamed for a tough loss, a game where he, ironically, had tallied 3 assists. This wasn't just humility, this was servant leadership personified. It's a leadership style that isn't glamorous, doesn't seek headlines, but builds an unbreakable foundation of trust and respect within a team. Henrik logged more defensive zone starts than any Art Ross Trophy winner in history, a staggering statistic for a scoring champion. Daniel, his equally committed twin, blocked more shots than some dedicated defensemen. They didn't just talk the talk, they skated the skate, leading by an example so profound it became contagious. Teammates would consistently say the Sedins never, ever asked anyone to do anything they weren't already doing themselves, and often doing more of. This wasn't about command, it was about genuine shared sacrifice. This unwavering commitment to the team, to the dirty work, to the unselfish play, slowly but surely transformed the entire team's ethos. Culture, a positive, accountable, and selfless culture, didn't just follow. It was forged in the quiet fire of their example. They proved that true authority comes not from position, but from consistent, selfless action. The 2014 season was a gut punch for the Canucks. They missed the playoffs, and the coach was famously fired on the tarmac after Game 82, a symbol of a season gone entirely off the rails. The locker room, usually a place of camaraderie, became a country song of despair. Veteran players sulking with broken spirits, while the young kids were terrified, looking lost. Management braced for the inevitable, a full-blown free-for-all in 2015, a complete rebuild from the ashes. But the Sedins had other plans. Instead of heading off to a secluded summer retreat, they opened their doors, their lives, and their wallets. They invited the young core of the Canucks, emerging talents like Bo Horvat, Chris Tanev, and Jake Virtanen, to their summer barn in Sweden. This wasn't a team-mandated camp. It was a personal invitation, paid for entirely out of their own pockets. The schedule was rigorous, yet nurturing. Practices at 7 a.m., followed by traditional Swedish fika, a coffee break with pastries fostering connection, and then intense video sessions in the afternoon, dissecting plays, teaching the nuances of the game. This wasn't just about physical conditioning. It was a master class in mentorship and culture building. They were actively cultivating the next generation of leaders, imparting not just skills, but values, accountability, work ethic, and the importance of civility, all without a coach dictating terms. It was a direct, hands-on intervention that stemmed the bleeding and rebuilt morale from the ground up. The following season, defying all expectations, Vancouver somehow grabbed a remarkable 101 points, making the playoffs. A bewildered reporter asked Henrik how they turned it around. He just shrugged with that characteristic, understated manner and said, "We just played for each other." What he really meant, what that quiet statement translated to, was profound. Culture beats chaos every single time. Their leadership wasn't just about winning games. It was about preventing organizational collapse and laying the groundwork for future success. April 5th, 2018, Rogers Arena. The atmosphere was thick with emotion. It was the Sedin's final home game, a bittersweet farewell to two icons. The score was tied in overtime. The crowd, a raw, collective mass of goodbye tears, clinging to every moment. Then it happened. Daniel, ever the opportunist, intercepted a clearing pass. He slid it with perfect precision. Cross crease two. Who else? Henrik. Henrik, without hesitation, returned the puck right back to Daniel, who, in one fluid motion, roofed it top shelf. Goal. Pandemonium erupted. The arena exploded in a cathartic roar, a cacophony of joy and sorrow, and the Sedin celebration? Not a single word was uttered. No fist pumps, no wild roars. They found each other amidst the chaos and hugged. 17 years of proving that humility, selflessness, and quiet determination truly win, compressed into 4 silent, unforgettable seconds. It was a moment that perfectly encapsulated their entire careers. Post-game, on the arena microphone, Henrik spoke for a mere 8 seconds, his voice calm amidst the adulation. We were proud to be Canucks. Treat each other well. Then he handed the mic away. That short, profound message, delivered with such quiet sincerity, became the loudest whisper in franchise history. It was a final powerful testament to their enduring philosophy, a mic drop that resonated deeper than any shouted declaration ever could. Today, if you walk into the Vancouver Canucks dressing room, you'll see a powerful line painted in green and blue on the wall. Leaders eat last. It's not just a slogan, it's a direct quote traced from the Twins' personal notebook, a philosophy they embody daily. Every young prospect entering the Canucks organization now receives a copy of the Sedin's off-season training manual. You won't find glossy selfies or self-promotional tweets in there. Instead, it's filled with detailed footnotes on nutrition, specific training regimens, and crucially, a section dedicated to giving back to the community. It's a blueprint for being a complete professional, on and off the ice. Their impact has reverberated far beyond Vancouver. The NHL, an institution often slow to change, has begun to take notice. Teams now scout for character with the same intensity they scout for Corsi, that advanced analytic stat. Quiet leadership, once considered an oxymoron in the high-octane world of professional hockey, is no longer a contradiction. It's become a recognized valued category on draft boards across the league. All of this profound shift in perception and philosophy, happened because 2 Swedish brothers steadfastly refused to shout. They showed the hockey world that there's immense power in restraint, in dedication, and in leading by example, proving that actual influence doesn't always need a megaphone. Daniel and Henrik Sedin never fit hockey's traditional loud leader mold. In fact, they didn't just refuse to accommodate it, they shattered it entirely, and brick by quiet brick poured a new one. Their philosophy was simple, yet revolutionary. Lead quietly, pass first, and always own the result. They took a franchise that was often a punchline and, through sheer will and unwavering commitment to each other and their team, transformed it into a perennial contender. More importantly, they proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that humility isn't a weakness, it's a scalable strength. So, the next time someone tells you that leadership has to be loud, that you need to be the most prominent voice in the room to make an impact, remember the Twins who whispered their way to an astounding 2,111 points and, in doing so, captured the heart of an entire province. If this story hit you in the feels, if it made you rethink what authentic leadership looks like, then please tap that subscribe button for more hockey histories that dared to break the rules. And hey, drop a comment below. Who's the quietest leader you ever played with? And how did their actions, rather than their words, change the room? We'd love to hear your stories. See you at the next one. Hey hockey fans, you can also follow my blog at https://tedtalkshockey.com, and remember to keep your stick on the ice.